All right, here we are, guys. We are live. A little late getting started tonight. We're actually early versus going at 8. Buddy was like me. We had a long day. I've been up since 6, and, of course, on signing day, knowing when I got to get up real early, I'm waking up every hour to see if it's time. So I really didn't sleep at all last night. Long day, long successful day for Brian Kelly and the LSU football program. LSU with a very solid middle of the top 10 recruiting class. We'll see how the dust settles on that. Still some other things out there. Of course, transfer portal remains to be big. Brian Kelly met with us today. We can talk about that. And, of course, we're brought to you by Pride Roofing. And we'll talk about Mike and Alex a little bit later in the show. But welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mr. Scarborough. As always, hope everybody doing well. If you've been hectic like all of us, traffic is a nightmare. Kids are off school. Santa coming. A very incredibly cold Arctic air coming in, and to the likes of which we have not seen in 30 years. So wrap your pipes and drip your faucets, and let's hope that we get through here. But, you know, it's amazing, Mike, the difference between year one and year two. And everything was choreographed and organized, and still waiting on one tomorrow. But for the most part, you get an idea what Brian Kelly and his staff are going to do on a yearly basis. And the beautiful thing that we talked about all football season, with the new rule, they're going to be able to add another 8 to 10 in the portal. And so you're going to be talking a good 35 to 40 new players. Brian Kelly said it, 70 players flip-flopped and turned over in about a year calendar period. So exciting times for Tiger fans.
Absolutely. And, of course, look, he made the rounds today. He was fantastic at his press conference today. He was on the Paul Feinbaum show. I'm sure he hit some other places, too, that I haven't seen yet. Maybe he was on with Dan Patrick or Eisen, but we knew he was going to do a little bit of that today. And I think reading some of the comments, I shared the Feinbaum interview, and, of course, on our own YouTube channel, the right at 30-minute press conference that he did today was mightily impressive. And he's also very proud of his staff, the staff that did a fine job and really getting this group into the barn. And look, it's one of the top recruiting classes in the country, 5, 6, or 7. Of course, a lot of people now are wondering about Desmond Ricks tomorrow at noon, and we could talk about that. It's I will say this, it is trending Alabama. There's a lot of stuff out there, and what you've been seeing out there in the last hour or so is the truth. But we'll talk about that a little bit as we go here. But, guys, if you're enjoying the show, please hit that like button. Go ahead and share it out to your Facebook, your Twitter. Text the show out to your friends that are also LSU fans. Very much appreciated that you guys do that. And also a big appreciation to a lot of you guys who signed up today on TigerBait and tried our $1 free trial. That is always something we do at TigerBait. You can try us for a week. And if you're an LSU fan, give yourself a Christmas gift. I think you'll enjoy TigerBait if you're not already with us, is a premium subscriber. A lot of text alerts went out today, and big thanks. I see Preston in the chat. Preston did a fine job helping me last night, punch drunk. I was trying to get some shopping in, and then boom, Brett Bordelon, the 2 defensive ends, Jalen Lee. I mean, it was incredible. And then plus he had a show to do, so he bailed me out last night, and also did a good job, helped me out today when running the thread when Brian Kelly was there. So I'm appreciative of Preston very much this week. So
he's been the guy the last couple of days, and look. It's almost like you got to see this thing scripted. Now, you know LSU fans have been spoiled with recruiting like no other fan base, Mike. Nobody else can talk about the Bayou Recruiting Bash, the beer, the jambalaya, the pizza, the donuts, the history, all of that. So this is something that LSU fan bases, it's dear to their heart. They love it. And it's an event. But we were talking about how smooth it was going to be. But Brian Kelly is so smart. He let those D linemen and those portal announcements come right on the eve of signing day, because I was asking you last week, where's the beef? Folks, you got to have some D tackles. Jaquelin Roy has declared, and so now you're looking at all those guys on the front, other than Mekhi Wingo, gone. But we'll talk about replacements.
No, he is.
But isn't it amazing the choreographing, the timing to get those four?
They're good at that. And of course, maybe we're being conspiratorial, saying that that's what they're doing, because if this goes down with Ricks tomorrow to Alabama, like we're hearing. Do they immediately turn around and all of a sudden there's a rollout of Denver Harris? That's just to offset it. We'll see. This is even though you had signing day today, and look, I've been covering recruiting. Buddy's been with me the whole way, all these years. You get greedy, and so you can't let the one or two that got away from you make you forget about Caleb Jackson, who didn't play his senior year. I used his photo for the thumbnails because nobody got to see him his senior year. I was there the night he hurt his ankle, first game of the season. Trey Holly and Watson and on and on. All of them, Shelton Sampson, Zalance Hurd, fantastic football players. You can't let one or two defensive backs give you a heartburn.
Well, I'll just give you one reminder. Everybody knows the turd in the punch bowl was Joe McKnight. Okay, now if Desmond Ricks does in fact go to the enemy and sign with the Crimson Tide, he will be the turd in this year's Punch Bowl. But, by the way, remember everybody freaking out when Joe McKnight didn't go to LSU? Well, guess what? They won a national championship shortly thereafter. But this guy, if he does go Bama, it's so sad because, I do think at some point we're going to have to address the speed limit in NIL. We are having problems in this city right now with drag racing and all kinds of crap, and they can't do anything about it. Well, guess what? NIL is worse than what we're enduring on weekend basis. And when you hear these coaches say, I heard a guy who was offered $5 million to go, I don't know how you can police it. I don't know how you can corral it, but it's getting bad. And the thing that Brian Kelly will tell you, he's more worried about character than talent and money.
Before we went live, my second cousin sent me a message saying, "Is it true what's out there on Ricks?" And he gave me the acronym FML. Blank my life.
Frick my life.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
I'm gonna get after Jake when I see him Christmas Eve. But yeah, it's Is if you had your heart set on Desmond Ricks, how do you think Robert Steeples feels, who put in the legwork, got on all those flights out of state to go visit the family and go to IMG how many times and make all the phone calls and forge relationships with parents and, immediate family and aunts and uncles, whoever, and host them and wine and dine. And then you get the rug pulled out from underneath you. Think about the coaches. That's really got to make you sick.
Well, and you're making my point because it's not just the best recruiters now, folks. It is a combination of things, and don't think for a second NIL and money is not playing more of a factor. This thing is becoming more and more like the NFL, semi-pro, but there's no salary cap. And that's all I'm saying. At some point, they're going to have to rein this in. But Nick is still number one. He's got the number one class. He flipped a DN from Notre Dame, really good player. Flipped an awesome offensive tackle from Iowa. I mean, But look, everybody was lamenting about JoJo and Aaron Anderson not signing with LSU 2 years and last year. You never can.
Well, and that's the other part of it.
Yeah. You never can tell.
Desmond Ricks. And that's why in this day and age, and they do it, they're doing it. You forge a relationship with all these kids, even the Louisiana kids that you had 13th on your board or 18th. Believe me, these LSU coaches, if it's not the immediate assistant, it's the player personnel guys, have relationships with those kids because you never know what kind of football player they're going to be in 2 years. They might not have been what you wanted right now, but there might be a kid you need in 2 years. So not to say that Ricks could come back LSU's way, but you brought up Aaron Anderson, and it made me think that. That was the one kid that I
JoJo Earl, of course, everybody thought that he was going to sign with LSU, and Saban stole him. And that other D-line, that defensive end that decommitted at the end. So, look, love the one you with. Worry about the ones you get. There's always some poop in the Christmas punch bowl. But for the most part, talk about the guys and focus in on the guys because, look, LSU is going to be appreciably better and deeper next year.
Jawan Hearns, Ricks is not trending to Bama. Quit believing everything you hear. No, Jawan, he is. He is. In fact, there's even a real possibility that he's already sent in his paperwork to Alabama, and they've got it. So, we'll see.
Look, you know that.
Got some good sourcing on that, Jawan, before the show. All right, guys, let me scroll up and get to some of these. Nurse Court, first one out to shoot. What's up, guys? No, Preston was actually first. He goes, can we all just pour one out for Mike's annual day of well-earned rest tomorrow? That was tragically lost to Desmond Ricks. Yeah, believe me, I believe there's going to be some fireworks tomorrow regardless.
Yeah.
You got transfer portal. There's things happening. But I was kind of a little heartened by Kelly telling Feinbaum he was about to head up north for the holidays. They're taking some days off. So we'll see. Tari Love, thanks for the live. Is it true Ricks leaned to Bama? Yeah, I addressed that. Let me scroll down. I'm getting to some of these guys. Mike, anything on the center and cornerback from Cincinnati, Renfro and Hathaway? I don't have anything to report on those guys right now, Daniel. But now that all these guys are rolled out, we're going to turn our attention to the portal. I think the portal is going to be where the fun's at. Partly the fun, but mostly these kids, like I said, I've been telling you guys for weeks, they're not going to do interviews. But it's going to be like unplanned gifts that come your way.
Well, don't forget, Brian Kelly made a mention that one of the most exciting things about this class was the offensive lineman. Lance Hurd, we got to get into that. I had a source actually tell me during Thanksgiving, Lance Hurd's going to come in and play left tackle. And I'm going like, man, you had too many cocktails. Will Campbell's going to play left tackle. And yet the story, as you tell it, was that Brian Kelly reiterated he's coming in here.
He started talking about it. He says, did you see it yet?
Yeah.
He said, well, I think I can tell this story. And so then that prompted me to go to my archive and download the video I shot of him. So that's on our YouTube channel and on the front page of TigerBait. It's free. I downloaded it was premium video for our subscribers. I downloaded, so that gives you about a 1 minute clip of him and Brad Davis doing some of that work that they did back in June.
But look, they're going to play the best five linemen. That's who really starts. So it's just outstanding that you Tiger fans know there's going to be a guy that's going to be involved and possibly start as a true freshman. Don't sleep on DJ Chester. You got a local kid from New Orleans, another tackle. And then you got Paul Mubinga, who, of course, as we know, is a center. So it's all not if Ricks breaks your heart tomorrow and gives you the screaming reds as you're shopping and waiting in traffic for an hour. Don't worry about the ones if he really does, in fact, do that. Mike hit me with that as we got into the door, and I certainly am not surprised, but then again, I am. I thought that kid, everything he said, did, you just looked like you fit. And, oh, by the way, are you superstitious?
Not really. Sometimes.
Well, let me just tell you what happened, folks.
I believe in karma.
LSU set up a tent on the 50-yard line. And I don't think I've ever seen it done like this. And they had dinner. Now, they had a lot of other commitments.
That was neat.
No, that was really cool. I think they'll do that in the
you got heaters in there and everything.
Shelton Sampson, all these other commitments. But the two guys they put the red carpet out for both ended up going other. Isaac Smith, of course, ended up staying home and went to Mississippi State. And now Ricks, as Mike is telling you, it looks like he's going to Bama.
We talk about that Mississippi. We've laid it out.
But how cool was that to see that? I mean, they're using everything they can, but when it comes push to shove, sometimes you get beat at the end, and boy, all that hard work, poof, it's up in smoke. And so you gotta learn. You know,
I
you gotta learn.
when we went in last Saturday for Brian Kelly's midday press conference after practice. When I walked in the building, I was walking in the building behind Isaac Smith and his family. They were getting the tour of the building right when I walked in. And, man, he looks a lot like Jamal Adams. I mean, they really wanted him. But it's like, you look where it's at on the map, and that tells you every time. It don't matter what Mississippi State's outlook is, losing Mike Leach. Did they hire the right guy or not? You're going to go venture into the northern part of Mississippi, the chances are slim to none.
It's always a tough
And
pull.
if there's been any coach that's ever gotten anybody out of there, it's Nick Saban.
Yeah.
LSU gets Jackson. They'll get Stephen Ridley from the independent school league, private school league. You'll get the Dixon brothers from the Gulf Coast. Where was Muskegon born? Alexander Jackson was Jackson, Mississippi. You know the names. Man, I'm really going back, ain't I?
Well, but the bottom line is
Barnes.
that, look, don't let this take some shine off of what went on. And moving forward, like I reiterated earlier, with the new rule, now you want to go and get some portal guys. They're going to go and look at a D tackle. They're going to look at a linebacker. Going to look at a cornerback. I'm sure they've got needs, and he's already spelled all this out.
Yeah, I look, the high school kids are one thing, but what did we see last year? Who were your stars? The transfer portal kids.
Yeah, sure. A lot of them.
And Harold Perkins.
Absolutely. Well, and the four freshmen that all made.
I mean, Major Burns was a transfer portal kid.
Yep.
I mean, look down the line. Shoot.
Well, we'll see. So look, you gotta wonder. You still have some doubt as we go in tomorrow on that final day.
Yep.
I say final day. They've got a couple more.
Bart
days.
Smokey says Bama Bucks coming back to the front. Barry Barbier, Eric Gilbert's in the portal again. Yeah, that's a sad situation. You know, that kid's got issues, and I hope they get it fixed.
Yeah.
Nurse Court, Mike, same meltdown in full effect over one guy. Happy early signing day, laugh online, same story, different year. Yeah, I mean, look what we've done here. We're 17 minutes in, and it's a lot of hand-wringing over losing one player. And, of course, you know, you can say Isaac Smith and Austin, but, look, they've still got some very good defensive backs in that class, and you've also got some kids that are coming back, and you still got the portal.
Well, like you alluded to now, this is going to be interesting to see if, in fact, Denver Harris gets a chance. And I think if that happens, there's going to have to be zero tolerance, you know?
Denver Harris offsets all that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, they worked their butts off for a year to establish that culture. And, oh, by the way, there's a couple guys that are going pro and not coming back that they may be kind of nudged out. So we'll see. But corner is, for being known for DBU, you're going to have to continue to recruit corners for a couple more years.
Absolutely.
Especially in this league.
And then you're getting back to a deal next year where the state looks like DBU. 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got some really good DBs next year.
Sure.
And, you know,
Jawan Johnson.
does it all start with Jawan Johnson over to LCA? You got Wardell Mack. You got several great DBs in the New Orleans area. Steeples is going to have a field day right in his own backyard. And so, DMT Zell, you're recruiting kids who majority are broke and expected to take care of their families when they go pro. Of course, it's going to be about money. Absolutely. And look, here's the other part of it. Is it necessarily money with Desmond Ricks? We don't know that. And what is the difference? It's not like LSU's has an NIL pot. Is it something way out of whack, or is it just the fact that it is Nick Saban in Alabama? I mean, at some point you got to give them credit and not just say that it's money.
By the way, shout out to Nurse Court and all of our great listeners and loyal viewers that have been with us all year long. Mike, of course, Mr. Juke Q, and I'm the old guy that just kind of likes to have a little fun over here and enjoyed it immensely. We hope that all of you have a blessed and happy and safe Christmas. But look, I think that how many times have we had that old adage, you don't worry about the ones that you don't get, you worry about the ones that you do get. And man, Alabama can talk all they want, but I'll put LSU's wide receiver room against anybody. That gives us plenty of controversial talk about quarterback and moving forward. And you know what? He made a great point about money. I heard all along the Desmond Ricks NIL deal was very, very sweet and very competitive. And this is what comes, and this is what's so frustrating, like Nurse Court, I think, was alluding to. Saban right at the last end. You can call him whatever you want, but he's the honey badger. He generally takes what he wants. And we thought Ricks was going to be different.
I mean, let's just make up numbers. Let's say the NIL deal was $300,000, and you're in a situation where you like, I've got to have a marquee corner, and I don't have one. Well, who you think it's beyond Saban to say, all right, give him 500, and let's blow it out the water where nobody's going to come back and come close to matching us. Right?
I don't know what the numbers are.
I mean, I'm making up numbers.
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are. But once again, the point I'm saying, he came and he took, and oh, by the way, the last Ricks that he stole from LSU, played at LSU for 2 years, and he got his ass blocked all the way out of bounds on a touchdown in overtime and subsequent
He
loss.
played good for LSU that night.
So, yeah, Mo, I'm just saying, if you can't let that stuff affect you, because how many times he talked about Will Campbell? Now, Will Campbell gave up a sack. Remember what Will told his coach? I know what he did. I know what I did wrong. It'll never happen again. Move on.
Fire3449 says, hit the like button. Big thanks, Fire, for that. Bruce Steele with a super chat. Harris, Cypress, and Fiskey would be great additions. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I do think now, if this is, in fact, reality, Mike, I do think they're going to probably have to go into the portal and get another corner. And look, Jared Bernard-Converse was LSU's most consistent corner, and Mekhi Garner is going out pro after 1 year. So if you can get two comparable to that, but as we know, they're going to take a few days off. But, man, you never sleep when you're a head coach, and you never sleep when you're following it, attested by Mike.
JP, Muskegon Barnes is from Moss Point, yes. One of the all-time great names in LSU history.
See Moss Point off the interstate all those years going to Florida, man.
Mm-hmm. See, but that's LSU territory. That's
sure.
the easy. That's the ones where you have the best chance. Once you get north of Jackson, you're in big trouble. James Sells, great recruiting class for our Tigers, Mike. Absolutely, it's a fantastic recruiting class. And I think the fact that he's saying they're going to go up to 38, I think they're going to be very successful in the portal with who they can attract and what these kids see in LSU right now. And a lot of positive buzz around LSU in the program right now. Of course, we're brought to you each and every week thanks to Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez. Over at Pride Roofing, and let's go ahead and hear from Mike and Alex.
Hi, I'm Michael.
I'm Alex.
At Pride Roofing, we handle commercial and residential work.
TPO, shingle, and metal inventory.
We got it. Property still in disarray from the recent hurricanes and hailstorms. Insurance claims?
No problem. But you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait, and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Call 855-PRIDE-16. Se habla español.
And there you go, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez, Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. Give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16. And if you say TigerBait, and when you call for your free roof inspection, they're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium free for a year. They pay the bill for you. And you're under no obligation. You're getting a free roof inspection, and because of that lead, they're going to pay TigerBait for you to have it premium for a year. Anywhere in South Louisiana, South Mississippi, all the way up to Jackson, all the way to Vinton, Louisiana. And, of course, based right there in Albany and real big on the North Shore, expanding Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans in a big, big way. You're not going to beat Pride Roofing.
Mike, obviously, Alex, want to wish each and every one of you a very happy holiday season. Merry Christmas. They have had a fantastic year. Of course, the acquisition of Crown Metals has really changed the game. Metal roofs are very hot right now. 275-2041. Jorge Martinez is our manager on our new location in Baton Rouge on Government Street. Outside the Baton Rouge area, 855 Pride 16. They will sharpen the pencil. They will get there. They've got the materials. And, Mike, we don't know of anybody that just have not been fantastically impressed with the way they do business. Besides being likable, you've known Mike all your life, LSU graduate. His brother was a pretty decent fullback walk-on at LSU. And, of course, Alex, we're lucky that he has not been picked up by Hollywood. He's such a character. But once again, we take great pride in having them to sponsor this show, and you'll take great pride in the work that they do for you.
Juwan Hearn says Denver Harris offsets Desmond Ricks if we don't get him.
PFM made a great point, if I can pull it up real quick, and he said, people, you need to relax. Everybody was freaking out when JoJo Earl was stolen by Saban, and you got Malik Neighbors. Remember on the 5 for 5? Mm-hmm. Remember Alabama got a couple of guys who I think, I don't know, one of them got arrested but got off. I won't throw him under the bus, but you ended up getting two of the better of the 5. With, you never know, but it is frustrating because, a lot of people have that Alabama syndrome. And how about, did Brian Kelly beat Alabama this year?
Sure did.
In Tiger Stadium? I think little Nicky might be a little pissed off right now. So, going to be interesting. And I asked you this question, and let's give the man credit. He's 71 or whatever, and you would think that everybody would be throwing against the wall. Nick ain't going to be there much longer. He's getting ready to retire. So he's taking
he's going 137.
No, but my point is that you still have to go through Tuscaloosa to win the West. But guess what? LSU won the West and made it to the SEC championship game. And they're going to have a lot more football players. Wait till Aaron Anderson takes that punt return to the house for a touchdown. Holy cow. Please, I don't want to ever see another year of LSU returns that we saw. The IQ with the LSU return game this year was minuscule.
I was on an Alabama show at noon today. Brett Beard and Harold Bugg, I've done their show for years. And, we were talking about, we brought up Aaron Anderson, and, they remember me telling them what they were getting, and now he had a meniscus deal at Alabama, but I'm told all that's 100%. Polian's got to be absolutely ecstatic because now he's got a bona fide threat to take it to the house. Punt return, kick return, and as great as LSU's wide receiver room is, he might be the best in space after the catch, even amongst that group. Well, I think he has a chance to beat like that.
I want to see, Butte reminded me of what he used to look like in that one play where he put his foot in the ground and went into overdrive against Georgia. So are we going to see him? Let's be honest. Butte got a little heavy, folks. He was more concerned about NIL and all that other stuff. Got heavy, didn't have a great year, is coming back. Who would have thought he was coming back? You want to talk about crazy stuff that's already happened? Nobody would have thought that. And then you got Malik and Brian Thomas Jr.
I think, and that's the other part of it. And I think LSU fans, I've kind of noticed that I don't see what we used to see, where it's like really hammering a kid on social media that doesn't go to LSU. Because look around today. Look at some of the kids around the state that ended up somewhere else. Who knows what Jaden Alsbury might do in a year or two, right? Sign with Notre Dame today. Tackett Curtis at Manny. You don't ever know how that's going to pan out. Derek Williams. Maybe he absolutely detests Austin, Texas. That's why you never burn those bridges. And the LSU coaches continue to work that and maintain relationships, because this portal changes everything. A kid you lose today, you might not have lost him forever. And I know Brian Kelly wants to keep the, kind of keep that number going forward, that he's not going over 30 in the coming years. This just being an anomaly because of what he inherited, and this is really giving him an opportunity to get it back to 85 and catch up in a hurry. But he wants it to even out and not go much higher than 25 every year, or 28, whatever. Maybe I think that maybe that you're probably going to be in the 30s most years, just because even if you did build your program with high school kids, you're always going to have second and third teamers who want to play.
And 15 early enrollees out of the 25. Mike, later on we'll kind of, once the smoke clears, I know you're exhausted and all that, but next time we do a show, we'll kind of throw in some of those guys that have a chance to play as true freshmen. They got somebody that they feel like fits perfectly with B.J. Ojulari at the Jack linebacker. It's going to be interesting to see, because, look, Shelton Sampson, you talk about the wide receiver room. I want to see. This is going to be fun when we go out there in spring to see all of these guys, see who's throwing it to them. But LSU.
On paper, this wide receiver room, seriously, on paper, if Butte ends up being the Butte pre-knee injury, what Malik Neighbors is doing.
And that's his money year this year.
All right. And then you throw in a Brian Thomas. Then what happens if you get a Chris Hilton that's all of a sudden gets healthy and stays healthy, and then he turns the corner? And then you're adding Sampson, Kai Preen, Jalen Brown, Kyle Parker, who I think is underrated, and Aaron Anderson.
Don't forget.
On paper, can you name a more...
Kyron Lacey, and look, folks, it's... The thing about it is, we always have seen a lot of skill. Hell, me and you used to joke about.
But I don't remember from top to bottom.
No.
Where there was that many you could drool over.
And look, Landon Ibieta is going to play in the bowl game. We haven't
even talked about him.
We haven't seen him all year. Don't sleep on him. So now I know we're talking about wide receiver versus corner. You do need to supplement a corner. But once again, who would have thought that? Now I will say two stats that I've mentioned the last month. Only 6 INTs, Mike. 6 guys had 1 INT. That's BS. Got to have way more INTs. 25 sacks. I predicted 40, like a DA. They gave up 45. You got to get better there. And negative 1 in the turnover ratio. They turned it over one more time than they took away. Those 3 stats have got to go up, and I think they will in 2023.
All right, guys, let me scroll down and get to some of your comments. Guys, hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. You guys help us out every week with that YouTube algorithm. If you're enjoying the show, hit the like button and subscription button, notification bell. Of course, we're a week away from the start of SEC play, basketball, men and women.
Yeah, by the way, programming, we're going to go next week at 7 on the 28th, because LSU hosts Arkansas at 8 o'clock. We've not given Matt McMahon a lot of airtime on any of the shows. But, Mike, it's just so hard with so much happening with football. And by the way, I know for all of us out there watching, congratulations and thanks for the job you did, Preston did, because, it's an insatiable appetite that we have. And I think it's because you grow up with the Bash. And even if you went to the Bash when you were 20, now you're 40 or whatever, and you get into 50, 60, whatever. People love to keep up with this, but that was an undermanned small roster that Kelly had to deal with in year 1, and I think we're going to see remnants of that when they line up in the bowl game here January 2nd.
Yep.
Still looking at about 50 players available for that game, but Landon Ibieta is a guy that I think is going to play in that game. And Quincy Wiggins.
Nurse Court, to see Chris Hilton take off down that field would completely shock the college football world.
Well, he caught the longest touchdown pass of the year, of course, at the last play of the year in 21 with Jonathan Kirkland.
Rick says, Kelly had a great day today, not just LSU. I do think he did have a great day, and the LSU program did. And I really like how he's come out and made it a point to right out the chute today to recognize his staff. And he did that on Saturday as well. And that's why he likes the fact, from the outside looking in, you're like, man, something's got to give. They got transfer portal. They've got a recruiting class wrap up. They're trying to get ready for a bowl game. How they doing it all? Something's going to, mess up. And he sees it as an advantage because he's that confident in his staff. And that's why he's a great CEO, because he lets his guys do their jobs. And so when he singles out J.R. Belton and that whole staff, Sherman Wilson, on and on and on, Bobby, you know the names. It's good that he does that.
Hey, another quick tidbit here. 3 tight ends added in. Mac Markway, he was the first guy to commit. 6'4", 250, St. Louis. Mike, if you remember, Brian Kelly, about a week ago, talked about what they wanted in a tight end. He says most people think, well, we got a blocking tight end and a receiving tight end. They want their guys to do both. So Markway is going to do that. And then you got in on Jackson McGowan at the end here the last week or two. 6'4", 235, Cincinnati commit.
Tight end room.
And then the kid, you flip from Vandy. We hadn't mentioned that. That kid's got a wingspan. Look, I guarantee he could be sitting here and probably
but that's what I'm talking about.
Thermostat.
You get Pimpton. Have you seen his tape?
Yeah.
Talking about underrated.
They could use him as a big receiver.
Only network's giving him a 4-star. Only one of them. Go look at his tape.
But great potential
So
there.
you flip that kid, but you only want to moan about the 1 or 2 that you didn't get.
Hey, by the way, real quick.
You think Vanderbilt, that was the top, that was the highlight of their class.
Real quick, Caleb Jackson, what do you think he's going to bring to the table? And Trey Holly, just talk about the differences that they both bring to the running back room.
Caleb's 5'11", 205 to 210, 10'5", 100-meter guy, beast. Of course, he got hurt first game. I think he's been 100% for a while now. He's ready to go. I mean, look at all the midterm grads. That was another thing I liked today. He was asked, you got all these midterm grads, we're only going to be able to practice for the bowl. And he said, no, that's a PR stunt, and he's right. Remember when Stingley dressed out and so it was a photo shoot. He can't get any work done. No. Why have that distraction? Just for them to dress out for a day or two of practice.
But my point is that I think LSU got better because really, ever since Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they haven't had that take it to the house potential on any play. Josh Williams, you love that guy, and you know what he brings to the table. His lunch pail every Saturday. John Emery is an enigma. When's he going to show like he's a 5-star, and when is he going to fumble twice in a game? Noah Cain, I don't know if this guy's coming back. He's got another year of eligibility. He's going to play in the bowl game. We still have a lot of questions on that. And Armani Goodwin, who's got a lot of juju and juke, but he's been hurt both years. And so you add the other 2 guys. That offense, no problems talking about the offense, but now we'll slowly go through the rebuild of the defense.
I think, look, obviously, but again, you get Denver Harris, and this all goes – okay, we know what he did at A&M and why he got in the hot water, but before that, he was what he was billed as. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
And but I think the other position that if you wanted to ding the class would be where is that really stout inside nose guard type defensive tackle, and to be blunt, there wasn't a kid like that in Louisiana. Where was that guy?
Well, Jalen Lee is going to become a lot.
There's no Glenn Dorsey out there.
But Jalen Lee has got the body, 6'2", about 300. He's going to learn a lot watching Makai.
But he is.
But I'm saying he's similar body type. Those 2 are going to feed off each other. Jacoby and Gary, it's time for 90 to step up. And, of course, as we know, as you alluded to, the rusher from Arizona and Oregon. Look, these transfer portals are going to bring you some depth there. You know they're going to add some there.
Yeah.
But you're right. Wingo and Mason Smith coming back. As we know, Mike has often said he's a little worried because he's a big, tall guy, and we hope that that was such a fluke. I've still never seen anybody do that ever.
Yeah.
So having those guys back, but it still is a neat area, no doubt.
Let's see. Palermo Trapani, that tight end from DFW, was the best Vandy recruit. He came to LSU. Exactly. That's a great-looking kid. You were talking about, we always talk about who are the best recruiters on the staff. Look what Denbrock did.
He did.
I mean, Denbrock loaded the wagon at tight end. Denbrock's got a great personality. The kids love him. He is of the kids that he recruits. They all love him. He's got an awesome sense of humor. When he's cussing at football practice, he's the funniest guy. The way the words he uses is just hilarious. He uses all of my cuss words. I think that's why I like him so much.
Oh, goodness.
Eduardo got the crabs. Hey, Mike, great show as usual. Buddy is giving us an early Christmas present with his appearance on the show. He must have a late date.
Crabs, look, I want to say shout out to you. You know, they tease me because I give Nurse Cord a shout out like I'm attracted to her or something. Look, I'm attracted to the fact that she cares. She's a great Tiger fan, and she gets her butt to Tiger Stadium every Saturday night. And so let's talk about something that we talked about last year. Can Brian Kelly bring back the magic of Tiger Stadium? And he did that one night when they beat Alabama. So now in year 2, you start to get into got to beat Florida State in the opener. Obviously, got to beat this Purdue team, much depleted, because you can't leave this fan base now with 3 consecutive losses. But you go to Orlando and take care of business. You talked about the schedule is very doable. Now, at the end, they play Alabama and Florida back-to-back. But I guarantee you they won't be picked 5th in the SEC West this year. Oh, by the way, did anybody mention Florida or A&M in their recruiting today? I hadn't heard.
No.
So
where does A&M back into the?
I don't know. My point is that you said it earlier. The more you get, the more you want. It's very easy for the Tiger fan base because of the history of the Bash and everything to get greedy. So we'll see. But stay atop with Mike because he's going to continue to update with the portal.
Well, and look,
all that stuff.
it's the transfer portal is going to, I think, going to be very telling. And but beyond that, you're also getting this point now where it's been a steady diet of cupcakes for men's and women's basketball. It's probably been the most boring early season schedule for basketball for those two teams that I've ever seen. Right?
Angel Reese is one of the best bigs that we've seen.
But you want to see him play somebody.
So, well, they will. They look. They were
Kim Mulkey's going to fuss at me.
Well, no, but you got to understand they certainly schedule with a purpose, but they'll be ready. That was a good test, and they beat Oregon State out.
I think how I don't know what the crowds have been in the PMAC, but and you said earlier, I don't even know if they're on TV tonight. The men. How quickly do LSU fans turn the page? Because, like I said, SEC basketball is here next week.
Yeah.
28th, 29th for the women? Is that the deal?
Yeah. Men have got to have a little bit better shot selection. You got a beast in KJ, and everybody knows that Derek Fountain has come in and really done a great job as the second big. But Adam Miller has been in a really bad slump. Hope he lets the game come to him. But we'll get into more basketball. But for the most part, Mike, football ends up. What do you think next year, preseason, AP poll? Top 15? And they win the bowl game?
What would you say, 13, 14?
I'll say 13, 14, 15.
Okay.
And then you go from there. And so women's basketball is right at top 10. Men's basketball looks like it's going to be a rebuild, but they'll win some and lose some you don't expect. And baseball, I've already had about a handful of people tell me, call me a gambler or whatever, they booked their trip to Omaha already.
They're not the only one.
A lot of people. LSU is flat out loaded in baseball. Of course, got the #1 high school player in the country from Mississippi, but more than likely he won't ever see campus. But Stay on top of it with TigerBait.
Palermo Trapani, Brian Lazar shows LSU has 50 guys on scholarship back for spring ball as of now. LSU has signed 25 and has 4 portal guys. That is 79. Does LSU go for 6 portal guys, or is there a high school guy they could sign in February? Brian Kelly said they're going to host a recruiting weekend in January. And but you know, so what is the makeup of that recruiting weekend? You know, is it 6 or 8 guys, and you know, 1 or 2 of them are high school, and all the rest of them are portal? I don't know what that makeup's going to be. Once the dust settles on everything that happened today, and I don't know how many. To be honest with you, I've got such tunnel vision for what LSU is doing. I don't know how many other stragglers are out there that didn't sign today. So we'll see on that. But I think in the coming days, we're going to have a much better sense of that. And don't forget, you don't need to burn all your portal spots now. There's going to be more portal in May. So, and LSU's going to have kids that go in the portal in May. So, you know, he might say that the number's looking like 36 to 38 or whatever right now, and all of a sudden he's at 39.
Well, but the only thing,
or maybe he's at 37.
He mentioned 25. Only 15 of those 25 will actually be at spring. So he said 25 additional in spring.
Right.
15 of the 25 will be at spring.
Yep. Travis Wilburn, we have to get Ricks and Harris, especially since we lost Austin. Wish we had got Smith too. Yeah.
Hey, look, you always wish that you have one more, but for the most part, Mike, question, was this like the most calm you've been on a recruiting day in a while because everything kind of fell into place? Now, this I hope people don't get upset me calling it poop in a Christmas punch bowl, but that's what it will be if Rickson, in fact, is a tied player tomorrow.
But now it's a deal, Rick's to Alabama, and then if you don't make the move and do something with Denver Harris, right? Because Denver Harris is the only guy that's out there that can match what you didn't get.
Yeah.
But he comes with the baggage.
And we hadn't talked one word about Toviano, and I got to tell you, man, when I watched that guy announce, that is the kind of football player that Brian Kelly and his staff are bringing in. They're classy. They're educated. They are we players, not me players. They understand the importance of academics, and they are going to be mature enough to do what they do, get their sleep, take their vitamins, eat right, watch the film, all of that. You can just see the quality of the athlete, and that's why you're going to get burnt with the bag at the end on some of these kids. But Toviano, to me, fires me up, man, watching his stuff.
Yeah, he not only is he a special player, but when he did his announcement, man, talk about a super kid. And then, you know, he was a 5-star by one of the networks. And I know TexAgs, Billy Lucci and that group, Ryan Broniger and Jason Howell, they had him number 1 overall in the state of Texas. So think about how sick A&M was to lose him to LSU. They were comparing him to Harold Perkins the year before.
By the way, I'd love to see Harold Perkins just pin his ears back and go after the Purdue quarterback. Look, Savion Jones is going to play a lot in this football game. Look for Demario Tolan. That is number 32. I think he would have played more, but he had some injuries earlier. I think it was a back. He's a guy that's going to be more an impact player. But when we talk about the bowl game, man, do you have any idea how they're going to look like when they line up? Because we don't really – and Brian Kelly, of course, is not going to tell you every player that's playing and isn't playing because it's a competitor's disadvantage if he does that, right?
Yep.
So – but it's, you know, there are guys that we hadn't even talked about. Quincy Wiggins. Look, the sky's the limit for that guy. He redshirted this year. What does he look like come a couple Mondays? That's going to be fun.
Chance Babin, we had a great day. Gained 1, flip, lost 1. Ricks was never committed. Yeah, but, you know, Desmond Ricks is a guy, to be, you know, fair, that a lot of LSU fans had their hearts set on. And I put in a prediction for Ricks 2 weeks ago to LSU, and now it's a heavy trend of Bama, and looks like he's going to be a a member of Saban's roster. So we'll see. Carl Alexander, Toviano is a plug-and-play talent. You can't teach his physicality. By fall measurements, will be 6'2", 195.
I think that guy, just listening to him, watching him, and I played what his coach had to say about him on the show today from TigerBait. I think that's a future captain. That's the kind of guy that people gravitate to. You mentioned Isaac Smith looked like Jamal Adams to you. Toviano reminds me of an Adams type of personality. Not overbearing, but super confident.
He is a future team captain.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, no doubt.
Reed Wilson, James Sells, Shay Dixon just said on Mike's show about 20 minutes ago that Ricks is not coming from what Shay just said. I don't know who Mike's show is. This is Mike's show, but yeah, we had that earlier in the show.
And we realized a lot of collision tonight with Brian Kelly's radio show, LSU Basketball. But, Mike, look, I apologize for taking off, but I needed a little bit of time off, and he's done a great job. Had Jacques in here and had a great show last week. So you obviously have been delivering on a consistent basis on Wednesday night.
Yeah. Fire 3449. Florida is 12th and A&M is 14th.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Not impressed with Billy Napier.
But when you go from number 1 to 14, that's a big drop for A&M.
But I'm not impressed with Billy Napier. I'm not saying he's going to make it or not. I don't know. But I'm not impressed with his coaching this year. And Jimbo, I mean, the $64 million
Just so glad
question.
Corey Raymond didn't come in Louisiana and clean out LSU.
Hey, he's like me, man. He's getting old.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Thanks for all you guys tuning in. On the way out, please hit that subscription button and notification bell. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. Lots for you on the front page of TigerBait. Try us out for $1. I think you'll enjoy what we've got to offer on TigerBait Premium. And you guys all have a Merry Christmas. Stay safe on the highway. And we'll be back here next week.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Good night.